Hey everybody, I'm back. This is actually day 8 of a citywide curfew. The curfew was enacted because there has been massive rioting because of the death of George Floyd. We have had many wonderful, well-intentioned, well-meaning, peaceful protesters come to Philadelphia, or from Philadelphia that have been involved in these projects. And the one thing that I do want to say is that the death of George Floyd was tragic, and I don't know anybody that's looked at that and said, that's okay. We can treat people that way, and that's fine. Pretty much everyone called for justice right away. The cops lost their job. They're now all formally charged. The wheels of justice are moving. It's not as if the death is going unavenged. And yet these protesters continue to be out. They want more change, and I understand that as well. What gets me is that it's very easy to figure out that there are bad actors infiltrating the ranks of the protesters. We have, Antifa that is coming in dressed in black and really just looking to riot and loot and cause mayhem and destruction. And they're usually your out-of-towners, right? And then so they come along, they smash windows in department stores, and unfortunately, people of Philadelphia do not rise above it. They follow, I like to say, like sheep or like lambs led to the slaughter. They just go in and they tear it apart. This new trend, though, of burning everything down, I can't get down with that. Like, I don't understand how burning everything down in your own neighborhood, your own grocery store, your own CVS, where your own grandma gets her medicine from, why would you turn that down? It just doesn't make any sense. So we're on our 8th night of protests that turn, generally speaking, into rioting. There has been no on-the-ground coverage from any of our local news stations. We don't know what's happening there. If I was younger, if I was stronger, if I was tougher, if I was braver, I would go down myself, but that's not going to happen. I'm a mother of 3, and I have a husband who would never let me do that. So I respect that decision on him. The other thing that I needed to talk about tonight was, I think it's really easy for us to see when there's a bad cop. And I think it's really easy to see the areas where police need reformation. And I think that most people are more centrist and would agree with some of that, or all of that, or, varying degrees of it. So there's that. But then, on the other side, so on this side, on the conservative side, one might say, we see that there are bad cops. We admit to it. We want to see how we can make it right. Everything about that kind of is what a good apology is. On the other side, we have Antifa, and we have the scumbag citizens of our city that are rioting, looting, and burning down the neighborhoods, people's homes and businesses that they have worked their entire lives to run, that they came here from another country to find a good place to live because they heard this was the land of opportunity. They found that opportunity. They might have found it in a little dry cleaner or a nail salon or bodega or whatever. That's what's being burned down. That's what nobody gets. I need to hear something, some kind of, those people don't speak for Black Lives Matter. The people that did that were wrong. They were taking advantage of the situation, and this is how we're going to weed them out in the future. But there's none of that. There's no accountability. There's never any accountability on the left. It's really a shame. I don't think George Floyd would want it this way. As for me, I'm going to stay up entirely too late, probably watch entirely too many Twitter feeds, hang out with my dog. Jasmine, Jasmine, good girl, come on, good girl, come say hi. Come say hi, look. You good? Yes. She's a pit terrier. She's a pit terrier mix. She is a rescue from the SPCA in North Philly. So, you know, we have friends and businesses. We have friends and we've conducted business in all parts of the city, and we don't want to see any more of it burn. I don't want to see any more of my friends' neighborhoods burn. I don't want my neighborhood to burn. I don't want to have to leave weapons strategically placed throughout my home, defensive weapons. Not when I'm trying to raise three little girls. I don't want any of these groups to win or take over, really. I think we just need a lot of help here. I don't know. What do you think the city of Philadelphia needs to do? You know, some cities are beginning to outlaw tear gas and rubber bullets, and then, you know, what the thing that concerns me is then what do police have? Okay, so if they outlaw tear gas and rubber bullets, then they have real bullets, then a taser, and that's it. You know, rubber bullets and tear gas gives you some intermediary steps before you have to go to lethal force, and so I wonder what they're going to use to fill in that gap. What should Philadelphia do? How should we handle these protests? Not the protests so much. The protests are being handled just fine. It's the rioting, it's the looting, the burning down of the city. Where do you think that leaves us? Hearing all those fireworks right now. As you can tell, it's, you know, a little bit close to 10 o'clock. There's an 8 o'clock curfew, so nobody gives a shit about that. How do we enforce that when all of our cops are trying to make sure the city doesn't burn down? What is Philadelphia to do? What am I to do? Should we just put the house up for sale and leave? Because my husband's like really leaning towards it. I am scared to death to do that. But he thinks that moving might be long-term the best solution. And, you know, we would be moving far, far out of PA. If we did, it would be a big move. It would be one of the bigger moves anybody in our family has ever made. So what do you think we should do? I would love some feedback. I would love to hear your thoughts. Bye.